Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. I know it's been almost 2 weeks since my last video, where I said that, the truth about aging. That's what it was. Sorry. And I want to begin by simply saying thank you to all of you and to my new subscribers. And thank you for watching, for feeling and sharing, and for sitting with the message. You know, I haven't been on YouTube much lately because life has been full. Commitments, a little bit of laundry and ironing. Yes, I love to iron. And honestly, just needing some stillness. But even while I've been busy, your responses to that last video stayed with me. The quiet way so many of you listened, it reminded me that there is a real longing out there or out here with us. So our longing is not for more noise, not for gloom disguised as glamour, but for something real, something nourishing, something that says, you're not alone in this middle stretch of life. Yes, we're talking about middle age today, what it feels like. I have my notes here. So today, this message is not to give advice, but to offer reflection. This message is for those of us who are still becoming. So there's that part of life that no one prepares us for, right? It's not youth. It's not old age. It's that sacred middle, right? That stretch of years when you suddenly realize you're no longer trying to be everything to everyone. And for me, that is a glorious place to be. I don't know about you. And that you and I no longer need to chase validation. We start living with peace. You start choosing your own voice over applause. And that is what I love most about this stage and this age in my life, or this age and this stage in my life, is that I finally don't care what other people think of me. I don't care what they believe, what they whisper, and what they assume. My face, my chin, my body, they all tell a story. And I've come to love that story. And I certainly hope that you will come to love your story as well. There was a time not long ago when I considered plastic surgery, yes, for this chinny chin chin. If I could have done something about this chin, maybe I would have. However, now I look in the mirror and I see the woman I've earned the right to become. We live in a world that tries to dress mutton as lamb. For those of you who may not know this saying, I think it's an old British saying, where it's like trying to take a little lamb, take a big sheep, a fully grown sheep known as mutton, and dress it like a lamb. You know, a 60-something-year-old trying to compete with the 25-year-olds, and we're told that that is empowerment, but it's not. It's exhaustion and it's unnatural. Now, if you have the genes and you've taken care of your body, I'm not saying that, I'm not knocking taking care of your body, exercising, and eating correctly, working out. But there are those of us out there, no matter how little we eat, how much we exercise, we gain weight simply by the whiff of a candy bar or the smell of some good bread. So some of our genes are better than others. Some of us have had perhaps more time and more money to take better care of ourselves. And maybe some of us have had the ability to prioritize ourselves over serving or being in the service of others or to others. So there is a power in aging without apology. Let me tell you. There is grace in letting go. And when I'm saying letting go, I'm not meaning that you should walk around in sweatpants and flip-flops and never do your hair or get dressed up. I'm not talking about that kind of letting go. I think one should always try to put one's best face forward, or foot forward, as it would be said. But there is a grace in letting go. I stopped coloring my hair probably 8 years ago. No, about 6 years ago, while I was caring for my late husband. There simply wasn't the time. It was really expensive because I was getting my touch-ups done every 2 weeks. You know, my roots grow very fast. And so I didn't have the energy to keep up with the salon visits. It does not mean I didn't miss those visits to the salon. You know, that's where all the girl talk happens, and your hairdresser is kind of like your, therapist. So I literally shaved it down to my scalp and I let it grow back. To my surprise, I loved it, and I continue to love it, and I rocked it. Because I wasn't quite 55 when I did that. And my white or gray hair came in strong, and I thought it was stunning. I got a lot of comments on it, or compliments. And some people were shocked that I let it be. But I was free. I really was. You see, my mother colored her hair into her late 80s and early 90s. Pitch black hair on a face full of lines. My mother didn't have a lot of lines, but I just didn't want to go that way. It wasn't for me. It just didn't sit right with me. And while I'm saying that, you ever seen men who are really old and their hair is pitch black? Oh, not for me. But that's just my opinion. So I've learned also that grief never leaves. It becomes part of you, part of me. Not a weight, but a presence, and a reminder that love mattered. Some days you'll be going along just fine. Then a song, a smell, a corner of a room that knocks the wind out of you and literally knocks you to your knees. You weren't expecting it, but there it is. I've lost people. I know you have too. I've lost pets. I'm certain you have too. But somehow my heart keeps getting bigger. It keeps making room for new love, new laughter, new life, and new pets. And I know that yours does too. And aging just doesn't show up in the mirror. It shows up when they stop calling you miss and start calling you ma'am. That was my experience. When your doctors start looking like children. My last video, I told you all that I have a thyroid issue going on, and how I laughed at myself because I realized that my doctor was so young. It was just a light bulb moment for me. And when you realize you've been underestimated, yeah, again, it gets old, right? But let me tell you something, precious souls. That underestimation, that story is not your ending. It's just a quiet reminder of how much you still carry, even when the world forgets that wisdom, that knowledge you have, that life experience. You cannot put a price tag on that. You don't have to go back in time. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. This chapter of your life, if you're fortunate to have lived this long, many have gone on before us, before they reach their 60s or in their very early 60s. My dad left this plane when he was 62 years old, and it was young. That's about my age now, and I'm shocked when I think of how young he was, because now, when he was 62, I thought he was an old man. But now that I am that age, I'm like, wow, he was so young, and I feel bad about that. So this chapter is not about perfection. It's about peace. It really is. And this is your sacred middle. Let it be holy ground. Let it be enough. I promise you it does get better. So, if this message met you where you are today, I invite you to share it with someone else who might be in that quiet middle, still becoming, still unfolding. Yes, there's a lot in the unfolding. When I was younger, I had no patience. I needed to know everything right away and how my life was going to turn out and how it was going to be. But there has been so much grace in the unfolding. So, leave a comment if you feel moved today. I read every single one, and to be honest, I don't get many. So I'm hoping you will communicate with me. I promise I will answer. And if you haven't already done, please subscribe. It's free to do so. Not for the numbers, but so that the space remains a soft place to land. Until the next time, precious souls, eat something good. Have something warm if you're cold. Say no if you need to. Forgive what's behind you and trust what's becoming. You're not invisible. You are simply luminous, and your presence matters now in these difficult times in the world. Now your presence matters more than ever before. Bye for now, and thank you for being here. Until the next time, do take care.